Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend, where we go behind the scenes and talk to the creators of independent entertainment. I'm Jason Godbey, and today doing another work from home edition of the show for you. But we got a great guest via Zoom making his triumphant return to the show. He is the CEO of DeWolfe Music USA, here to talk about the state of the entertainment biz in the wake of COVID-19. Here's my interview with Mr. Joel Feinberg. Welcome back, Joel.
Thank you, Jason. Great to be back. Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy. You and yours well up there?
Yeah, we're doing. And we're surviving. We're happy. We're dealing with the challenges and persevering and staying focused. And I think that's been the greatest thing. It really depends on what you're focused on. I think we're focusing on the right stuff because the family's happy, staff is happy. And we're just handling the challenges.
Excellent, man. We're doing our best to crank out shows for people.
Amazing.
But working the work from home edition. So far, we've had episodes sponsored by soap. My people to wash their hands.
Right.
But it's a challenge, and I got to set up like a studio in my little home office, but. It's like when the going gets tough, the tough creatives get creative.
I hear you, man. I did the same thing, and I'm not even a TV guy. I'm a music guy. So I already knew that as soon as this was it, this is the new norm. I knew that there was going to be like sort of an arms race because this is everybody's office now. And
Right.
then, I knew within like 5 days, the whole background of your normal house is going to get boring. And then people are going to green screen and then they're going to get graphics. And I was like, I better get on this now. So I ended up, I had to learn about your business and learn about how to do backlighting and all this stuff I didn't think I'd be into a month ago.
Hey man, it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's a work of process.
As I said in my intro, this is your return to the show. You've been on before. But for people who may have missed that episode, just give me a brief, a couple sentences about what DeWolfe does and what you guys do there.
DeWolfe Music is a 111-year-old company. And 1909, it was started in London. And what we are is a music publishing company. Now, what we specialize in and what we helped create, the business we helped create was the production music business. And sometimes that's called library music. That kind of music was invented to support picture and to tell stories along with picture. Now in 2020, all the music companies and different factions of the music industry, they're all kind of blending in together. So we don't just do that anymore. We're doing regular records, major records, smaller things, sampling, anything with sound and music. And we have this huge catalog of music. So it's kind of infinite the way you can apply this music to new media, new technology, new storytelling.
We wanted to kind of talk about sort of the state of the union and what's happening in production. So now you're in touch with the showrunners and the producers and production companies. Yeah. What are you seeing out there now? Like what's happening, because nobody's shooting now.
Right.
But I assume that, when Adonis called in, we were talking about him, talking about post-production and things like that. But what are you guys kind of seeing now, and what are people planning for? And just kind of give me like an overall state of what's going on.
I'll do my best. But I do have to preface that for the last 3 weeks, my office I'm still getting used to it, was in New York City. And I had to close that office. It was a preemptive move. For me, it was a great move, and it's going to work out very well. But it was necessary at the same time. So, and especially during the pandemic. So, I spent I got to, before I do anything, big shout out to the DeWolfe Music staff. All of you people are amazing. Adonis, Andrew, Jenny, Valerie, Doug, Michael, Lauren, anybody else I'm forgetting. I'm just out of my mind right now, but man, these guys ran the company. You know, I mean, it's a true. It really says a lot. Um, what is a company? Is it a building or is it the people? So that it was an easy choice for me to close the building because I had the people. I'm mentioning this, and we'll talk about it later. What my experiences through New York City, Corona production, and all that. But I was out of the loop a little bit, and they were running the business. So I did have conversations. I was driving back and forth from upstate New York to to the city every day for the last 3 weeks, and so I did have a lot of conversations with people. I can tell you that there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's no way to answer that question completely just yet. And the reason in TV and film, they're still working. I'm licensing music a lot because they're still burning through the budgets and they're burning through. They're still working through the productions that were already in motion before all of this. It's business as usual. And because a lot of editors and you know, television and music, a lot of that can be done at home except for the shooting. So a lot of that's already been done. And it's still only been a month and change. So from my experience and the people that I work with, there's been a lot of business as usual. Networks are sending in licensing. My staff is doing music searches. Advertising seems to be pretty good. What we are starting to see is the obvious. The mid and smaller level companies, they're starting to feel it. And when we work with those people too, that we're starting to see now. And that's obviously going to creep up to the top pretty soon. I mean, they've already shot that footage with whatever they're working with now. I mean, that's going to dry up, Jason, I mean, what, like 2 months, right? I mean, however quickly they edit these films and TV shows and all that. So what are they thinking? A lot of people aren't thinking that far ahead in Los Angeles. And that sounds weird and scary. But it's also an opportunity because there are a lot of content creators here now that are already doing things on their own independently. You guys may have a leg up on companies that are used to having all these amenities to get their work done. So there are certain things that can continue, animation. So blockbuster films may come out. They may not be in theaters, but they still may come out. CGI, if the footage is, some of that green screen stuff was shot a year ago. And so that's going to continue that work. And I think there will be blockbusters. I think they may take a shot and start just not doing it in theater because I don't see that happening unless you're in certain states where they're going to be open. I don't see that happening this summer. The summer blockbuster season, what's that going to be? At home? Sorry for rambling here, but I'm trying to give you the lay of the land. Advertising seems to be continuing. Podcasting is doing very well. So a lot of that production is moving into where you are, Jason, in your space. So glad you're up and running, man.
We're trying, man. It's one of, I feel like, when this first started happening, it was kind of like touch and go as to like, and a lot of friends of mine were kind of like, all right, what do we do? But the people who think quick and fast and we're like, you know what, we can do stuff virtually, or we can do audio, or I started doing episodes, out of my house. And, I said, well, I'm a production guy. I got equipment, I got lights, I got sound. I'll just do it from here. And my stuff is better than some of the late night talk show hosts because,
right.
Because I'm a better production guy.
That's what I said before. Like the independent guys kind of have a leg up right now. They've been doing this day and night. Now you get like, guys like, Stephen Colbert, it was like, wait a minute, how do I light this thing here? And well, he's actually pretty good, but
he's got a satellite truck parked in his. He's got a satellite truck parked.
Yeah,
in
he's pretty good.
Yard.
Yeah, then you can afford like the Vladimir Putin like hazmat suits. The whole team comes in there, and it's like ET in his house.
I think like his wife operates the camera, and he's got his kids handing him props.
Awesome.
But for for YouTubers, that's every day.
That's right. That's right. So, and now in the music, that was TV and film. On the music side, I mean, it's very similar, and I'm probably going to hit the same theme over and over again because, but yeah, the music people the composers are panicking, right? Their work is drying up a bit. they're not even performing. Half of these people are performers and artists. There's nowhere to go, so they're working on their, concert streaming, trying to call as many fans or get a group of dedicated fans as quickly as possible and keep that together. You can't record in studios really unless you're home, so there's a lot of home production happening right now. So even fringe things in the music industry, some things are booming, like sample packs and people that work with like toolkits for music producers. Or this is the best time. Everyone's home, and there's nothing else to do, so make beats, and you need more drum loops and all that stuff to keep that going. But you kind of nailed it, man. As far as there's no answer, but there are people that can find clarity throughout this chaos, and with the clarity they can actually make decisions even without knowing. You can never predict what chaos does. That's what chaos is. But you can predict that it is unpredictable, and so that creates something that is manageable. This is an unpredictable thing that's happening here. This is what life used to be, and that is very predictable, and all this stuff. Now I have these two things coming together. So that's terrible. But also, that means all of the restrictions that were in this framework of what life used to be are no longer so restricting or even there anymore. And nobody knows what's going to happen next. That means there is a vacuum, and you can fill the vacuum. And for me, that was my course immediately. Me and Jason were talking before we started shooting here, and I mentioned that I closed my office on March 1st. And I don't think they closed New York City down till March 15th or something like that. And 2 weeks later, which in Corona time is like a lifetime, right? How many, if you start thinking about the science behind the waiting. So on March 1st, when I went into my office, I live up in the country in the Hudson Valley in New York. And so I drive in on Sunday night and stay in my office to get ready for the work week. And then I leave midweek and finish out at home. And so I got there Sunday night. My wife called me up and said, the first case landed. What do we do? And I closed my office that night. And I said, well, if one is confirmed, that means there's got to be millions of them walking around New York, hanging out in the subway. I can't have my staff do that, hit the subway and come to work tomorrow. I'm coming home right now. I just got there in New York City, 2-hour drive. And I'm turning around, going home. And so I did that, closed the office. And so what that did for me was give me a chance to go through the experience of evolution that everybody has to go through right now, self-reflection and all these crazy things that normally don't happen in real life when you have a busy, normal, 24/7 schedule, checking this, going there, running here, running there. Everybody has a lot of time to kind of look in the mirror now. And so I started that cycle very early, March 1st. And I did it. It was even scarier for me because I was putting things together before the news was putting things together, or even the government in New York and all that. And so I was really scared because I was obviously had understood something that wasn't quite, I'm not patting myself on the shoulder, by the way. It was horrible, actually. I kind of wish I didn't know. And it was a little, because once you understood that before everybody else did, to have to interact and to have to try to not freak out with people that just don't get it. It was a very scary moment. Those first 2 weeks, March 1st through March 15th, before it was official and people finally started doing that, it was very weird for me. It was terrible, man. It was like, it was literally like a funeral in slow motion, very slow motion, but crystal clear. And so that was what I'm talking about now is sort of my 5 stages of death with this Corona thing. And it started early for me. And some other things happened. Everybody has their own Corona stories. I certainly have my own, many of them, painful stuff and crazy stuff. And what it did was it kind of moved me through the 5 stages of death, right straight to acceptance. Before mid-March, I was already in acceptance when everybody started to realize, oh my God, they got to close the schools? And I was like, I can't believe people are even going, and So, but I was already in an acceptance phase. I was preparing myself for when everybody else started to realize. And that was crazy. So it was, I'm not patting myself on the back. It just gave me a little lead time to develop the awareness that I think a lot of people are developing right now. You said yourself, you're a producer. That's kind of the answer. Produce. You don't have to be a TV producer. You can produce anything. But the key to survival is production. That's it. And so I knew that, and you can't be, if you're paralyzed with fear, you can't produce anything. And if you have to produce ideas, then you need the wherewithal, and you need the awareness bandwidth to be able to do that. And being scared or angry or the 5 stages of death, that's going to get in the way, except for acceptance, the last stage. When you're in acceptance, then you have clarity. And I had clarity, man. And so I realized that I needed to use the chaos. And I started looking at all the structural things that used to be. Some of them are great, and you cling to them because they're comfortable and you like your old life. Some of them are freaking restrictive and inhibitive of growth. And one thing that was inhibitive was the ideal of having an office, brick and mortar. It's unnecessary. I'd wanted that for a long time, but you're scared. It's a little weird, and to just shift like that. And anyway, because I had gone through my acceptance stage so quickly, as soon as things got weird, I knew that this is the time to act, and I shut my office down.
I feel like we're all in this kind of like, we're all, like you said, sort of that Kubler-Ross 5 stages type of thing,
Yeah.
where I feel like people are in different parts of it.
That's the game. That's the game.
And I saw it
How
kind
quickly.
I saw it kind of early myself, and I was thinking, well, what do I have to do? And because I've lived in New York City a long time. And, for those of you, watching in Kansas, we're really condensed here. And in a situation like this, it can be really scary because you literally have people on top of you. But, we decided to keep going. And I think the people who can do that are the ones who are going to persevere. But I also want to say that there is absolutely no pressure to try to write King Lear during the plague.
No.
Because you might not be in that mindset yet.
Right.
You might not have arrived there. And, it's also, everybody is under duress, and I think for you and a lot of other people, space and time is going to tell the story. I'm wondering, one of the next thing I'm going to ask you is sort of like, in terms of predictions for the future, how the business is going to go. I kind of see it like what happened in 2008 after the writer's strike. We got a lot of reality style television, quick, fast, down and dirty, cheap type productions, because people were like dying for content, and they were doing all this stuff because they didn't need writers, or the producers could write it without being in the guild and they didn't have to strike. So now everybody's at home. I know there are still writers' rooms going on. I
Sure.
know, they're virtual writers' rooms, just like I'm talking to you. But I'm wondering kind of what the next, if you see any differences in terms of like what's going to happen in the future of content, or what people are going to pivot to, or.
And don't forget sports. There's a huge gap that needs to be filled quickly. The thing is, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be an exact repeat of reality, because even reality is not even called reality anymore. It's called docuseries.
Right.
So reality 2008 has evolved. So I'm not quite sure it's going to exactly go back to that. But I think that you're definitely on to something, that cheap and dirty. Absolutely. I just don't know exactly how that's going to look. I'm not quite sure that's going to be reality.
When all this came down, I thought, well, maybe there might be some opportunity for, the little guys who work in indie to maybe the playing field's a little bit more level now. Maybe there's stuff that, they say, hey, you can make something with 5 people like, and run out there and do it and get it done quick in a weekend,
That's
great,
right.
because we need it done in a hurry. But
And
it's
people are being conditioned for your content now. What's the guy on Comedy Central? Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah, yeah.
So I was watching him last night, and people are getting used to seeing the high-end stuff looking rough and dirty. They're getting used to it. So I think you're right. If they continue with that style, that means it'll be harder to discern between your content and Trevor's content. So it will level out the playing field. Now, really, it's going to be more about not so much the content, but the distribution channels. That, I think, is going to be the real key for the people out there that want to get in on this. And
are there better venues than YouTube? And like, because now it's so saturated, and then now you've got CBS and NBC and cable networks all vying for space on YouTube together.
That's right.
And I'm wondering, like, at some point, are they just going to say, we don't need a live audience, we don't need this big studio, we can do something, we can we can get Trevor Noah and a desk in a small, I mean, they may want to keep it.
It'll innovate. Think about, they could pipe in an audience. Bandwidth is getting faster and faster. They may have a virtual audience at some point that actually creates something like applause, or something that creates a live reaction that people can understand that, wow, the virtual audience is reacting in real time, dude. We're not that far away. We might even have sporting events with nobody in it, but a bunch of speakers that people are connected to. I don't know. But I mean, people are going to start thinking about ideas to bridge that gap. And that's why I don't think it's just going to be reality, because technology might kill that idea you have. Technology and innovation might create something we have never seen before. And these moments are the moments when those things happen. 2008, the writer's strike is not this, dude. This is a pandemic. So the writers went back and they innovated in their little circle doing reality. But this is a global thing. So that means not only are the writers going to be innovating and the TV people going to be innovating, but everybody else in the world is innovating everything, including technology, including bandwidth. Everybody knows we're home. You don't think they're all working on making latency disappear forever? Now more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's
something you want to think. I really think that the key for everybody is production. And you're right. You don't have to do King Lear because there's nowhere to put it yet. Just start producing.
Right.
Start producing, right? Stay active, stay motivated, because you're creating things. Keep it on the YouTubes and the big, the ones that are already jammed up and bottlenecked. It doesn't matter, because you're creating and you're flowing, right? While you're doing that, that's the creative motivation part. The business motivation is, it's chaos. This is opportunity time. There's going to be new outlets popping up all over the place. Stay on top of it. Make that a part of your job. Where are the new outlets to post content? Where are the new distribution channels? Remember, everything is going to look the same. Trevor Noah looks like Jason, looks like me now. So it's a distribution game, and it's about your awareness. You can't be, again, the 5 stages of death could be applied to this. You can't be, this is fear. This is the fear stage. How am I going to compete? I can't. Get to the acceptance phase. Everyone's jumping in on your game now, but the game's changing so that you already have a head start. You don't have to worry about these big fish, because the pond is getting bigger right now, and nobody knows where everyone's going to be parking their boat next month. We all have more time in the day, so you just allot more time to the business part of the stuff that you're creating. Where am I going to put the stuff? Where are the new things that are happening? Stay on top of it now. I'm telling you guys, I just did that. And I'm telling you, my company, we're chilling. Everyone's going to be, I'm not happy about it. If I could choose to never make this thing happen, I would, but it did. And when people are freaking out, my people, we're going to be chilling.
Yeah, it's just keeping your head about you. And it's tough. And I don't blame anybody for freaking out. I freak out a little every day, but
this helps the freak out is what I'm saying.
If you're in a freak out mode.
Yeah, if you're in a freak out mode, that means you're stuck in a cycle, a rut, right? The only way you can stop a spinning wheel, you stick a monkey wrench in there. And that's what forcing yourself to do this is all about. I'm freaking out. I just can't. It's hard for me to be creative during this time. I can't necessarily feel ambitious about the business part about it. And I get all that, but you know what that is? That's a loop that's going to keep going. The only way is a monkey wrench. And the way you can throw a monkey wrench in there is literally a physical schedule. You know you need to do it, people. So if you're feeling like you just can't do it, don't worry about the results. You don't have to write King Lear, just like Jason said, but you do write something. Write the crappiest piece of junk you ever made in your life, but make sure you do it every day. When you do it every day and you devote 5 or 10 minutes of looking for new places to put this content, even if you don't feel like doing it, force yourself to do it. That is going to throw the monkey wrench in this spinning wheel of fear. And all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing rays of light and opportunity. I promise you. And you will find a path that is only made for you and unique if you put the energy into it that way. If you become a slave to that spinning wheel, then you're just a hamster. And you know where you're going to be going. Nowhere.
Good stuff, man. Thanks so much. I got to wrap up, but
ready?
Yeah, it's great to have you. When you guys just, hopefully we'll be talking under better circumstances. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person for a drink or something.
I'm going to give you the most uncomfortable hug you've ever felt.
But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you, and I think this is good, and I hope people can get something from it. But thanks so much, Joel. Thanks for joining us, and let me keep me posted on what's going on.
Anytime, man. Let's do it, and let's stay in touch. And to all you good people out there, stay safe. I love you. That's it. Peace out.
And that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for taking this trip down the rabbit hole. For more of our content, visit our website, norestfortheweekendpodcast.com. Please be sure to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Once again, I'd like to thank my guest, Joel Feinberg. And for Behind the Rabbit Productions, I'm Jason Godbey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.